Hi everyone, it's Sister Jenna from American Meditating Radio. I hope you've been enjoying Wiseish, which you can get live on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube from 8:30 a.m. to 8:45. But you can also get it on demand 24/7. It's going to be your power boost for the morning. It's your daily dose for the soul. It's just going to encourage you to make the day that much more valuable. So join us. Looking forward to seeing you. Welcome to the Brahma Kumaris, where a new world is opened up for you. From humble beginnings in India in 1936 to a global organization with over 8,000 centers in 110 countries and 1 million students worldwide. Through their tireless commitment, passionate heart, and determined spirit, the Brahma Kumaris arrived in America in 1974 and have since grown to 35 main centers throughout America. There are also 2 residential retreat centers, Peace Village, located in upstate New York, and Anubhuti, located in Novato, California.
I want to just share a little bit about how the centers of Raj Yoga meditation began in United States. Actually, I was in Caribbean islands and I got invitation from New York that we want to start something about meditation. And it was in 1978 I came here and we rented a very small apartment in Astoria. And from there I found that a lot of people have interest. I realized that there is so much need, and from there onwards then centers started in many other states.
Our centers are safe spaces where you can explore the power of your inner world.
The classes are conducted in many homes, many cities all over across the United States. A lot of people, they learn meditation, they use that meditation at their workplace, in their family, and also I find that children, young adults, because they are so much into what really is the life about.
The Brahma Kumaris are dedicated to personal and global transformation through the study and spiritual practice of Raj Yoga meditation. And at the heart of our teaching is the belief that the pathway to peace and happiness is to remember our original nature as spiritual beings connected to the One Source. In 1981, the organization received recognition as an international non-governmental organization affiliated with the United Nations and accredited with general consultative status with the Economic and Social Council. From organizing large-scale global initiatives to local community programs, the Brahma Kumaris has a tradition of service in every field that fosters spiritual growth among individuals from all backgrounds, cultures, and walks of life.
I hold on to this vision, the world of love, world of peace and harmony, world which is free from conflict and sorrow, where we can live as brothers, one family, children of common parents, one supreme divine power.
This is your invitation to awaken and join us in creating a world of love, peace, and kindness. Om Shanti. Shanti, everyone, and good evening to your spiritual vaccine hour, your evening pause after a long day, your time to settle in yourself and just take care of you, for your self-care, for things that matter the most to you, which is your inner and spiritual well-being. This is your time. to take your daily dose of light and beauty and just naturalness, to just sit comfortably in my sofa or cook something while the sessions are going on and thinking about your life, thinking about where am I right now in my journey? How am I doing? What is Sister going to say tonight that's going to trigger something in me that I have missed or something that I've been very cognitive of and I really want some deeper insights? As you all know, I don't put all that wonderful intellectual, spiritual flair to our evening talks, and I think there's so many people that you can turn to for that. But for me, it's more like, just friends sitting in a living room together in the evening, just chatting about the day to see how it went and what were some of your realizations, what were the things that might have irked you or inspired you or made you laugh until your tummy hurt. Today I had the wonderful visit of Akshay. He came over with his mom, Durga. And, well, let me put in context the story. Santosh had told me earlier that his mother, Durga, wanted to come over. What we do in the ashram, we do something called karma yoga. That's simple actions that are performed in Baba's remembrance so that the vibrations of purity and peace gets amplified in the home or in the space. So apparently Durga had asked Santosh, can I bring Akshay over? He would like to spend some time with Sister Jenna. Would she have time to speak with him? And unfortunately, I didn't have a window at all today. So I told Santosh, please have him come, but I won't be able to spend the time that he might need from me today. But I'm sure Santosh will have a wonderful time with him and they can do something together. So they came over, Durga and Akshay. For those of you who've been tuning in, you know Akshay gives these profound statements in the comments list. And he came over and he sat in the meditation space with his mom. And then duties were allotted. And Santosh asked, we had a movie that we were given to privately screen for a radio interview that I'm going to do. So the publicist had requested, please watch the movie before you interview the producer. So of course I said, okay, let's see if we can tie in all of this today. And Akshay, you'd be perfect to watch this movie. And could you come up with some questions that I could interview the guest with? So do you have another picture, Santosh? There's another one too. So there's Akshay, everyone. You could see him there. Anyway, so that's Akshay there that we had today over the house, and we're going to put up another picture of him. But anyway, so Akshay and I, we sat at the same table. I put up all of my paperwork that I was doing today with Sister Antonia. Santosh was taking care of something else with others. Even Sister Geeta was busy today. Poor Happy was bored to death. So while we were in the midst of the day, Akshay got a chance to witness some of the wonderful scenes that unfold, that I share with you, that unfolds during the day in the ashram. So I think I don't know if I could actually get him I don't know if he's on the phone or whatever, but let me see. I don't even know if I have his mom's number in here, but Akshay actually says, oh, these things really do happen in the There was a scene that he was, hold on, let me see if I can get her on the phone. There was a scene that took place where he was taking care of his project of watching the movie and seeing how it was going. And then here comes Sister Geeta out of nowhere with a doll. What's the doll's song? What's the song for the doll? What's the song that doll sings?
Hello.
Hi, Akshay. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm talking about you on air. I hope you don't mind.
I'm seeing it right now.
Okay, so I hope you like that picture with you holding your meditation light and your new AirPods.
Yes.
Okay, so I wanted you to share because, today we're talking about love overcoming fear. And you and I spent a really good few hours together working. You were doing your project, I was doing my project, Santosh was doing his project. And, we had some wonderful moments of laughter. And I thought that it would be nice for you to share because everyone has grown so close to you. What was your experience spending half of the day with me today by chance?
It was pretty good.
And did you take anything away? Was there anything that was surprised you about today?
Um, Sister Geetha's tales were actually pretty accurate.
So, what do you mean by Sister Gita's tales were pretty accurate?
The tales that you told, they at first they sounded pretty like tall tales that didn't seem very possible. It's now starting to all come together.
So, everybody, if you heard what Akshay just said, she says, well, the stories that you're telling about Sister Gita on the show, he says that once he was here, he goes, oh, it all comes together. It is true what she says in the evening programs. So, Akshay, did you remember that part where you and I laughed so much and I says, I haven't laughed like this in about 2 months?
Yes.
So,
I remember that part.
what was happening that made you crack up laughing so much?
I was very focused on the project and making questions, and then Sister Geetha brought in her dancing dog stuffed toy, and it scared the Jiminy Crickets out of me.
What was that song that the doll was singing?
I have no idea.
Well,
Might as well have been Cotton Eye Joe.
I tell you, I mean, everybody, it was like Akshay could see firsthand. Oh, really, Sister Jenny was right. They do have commercial breaks with Sister Geeta during the day. Well, anyway, I really wanted to thank you. Your presence was so refreshing. Your mind was so sharp. And one of the things I took away was your interest in the project. Like, you weren't like being forced to do the project. You were like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I need to rewind this. I need to go back. So thank you so much for being so present today.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thanks for the AirPods.
Oh, you're welcome. Enjoy them, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Take care. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
Bye.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
He was such a treat, everyone. I mean, such a treat to have. And especially, this was actually his first time to the ashram just chilling with us. So there was a point when Sister Geeta kept tapping him on his back. Hey, you're such a good boy. You're so cute. You're so handsome. He's like, oh my God, help, Mom, help. And I was saying, Akshay, please come back. Please come back again. That's what love is about, everyone. It's that love is an energy that when it's real, it'll make you feel safe, even if it's uncomfortable, even if the situation is unusual for you. I felt like Akshay and myself and Mom was busy doing her thing, that there was a sense of love in the space. And usually young men at 13, they're like, Mom, let's just go. I can't do this. But he was just like, okay, this is new. This is different. And he carried in him a love that allowed him to be present. He carried a love that allowed him to not judge. He accepted, but yet he was curious, trying to figure out, what is this? What does this mean? What am I supposed to do here? How do I handle it? He was present. And there was an acceptance about him. So actually he added a lot of light to my day today. So thank you so much, my wonderful, sweet new friend. Thank you so much. All right. So today we're looking at love overcoming fear, and fear is a huge energy right now. And when I've looked at moments in my life that I felt afraid, I was definitely not in a place of love. And you've heard me say this on many, many spiritual vaccine hours. Whenever you're afraid, you're definitely in self-doubt. You're definitely not soul-conscious. You're definitely being influenced by your past. And that's a whole mixture of victories and defeat. And so when the energy and the influence, of that memory of emotion emerges, my love becomes merged. The love is there, but love gets merged. It gets pushed down. It's no longer energetically influencing the way I need to think, speak, and just be. It's not in my energy at the moment, especially at a very high percentage of vibrational frequency. Instead, what I'm feeling more is an emotion that the soul has become very familiar with, too familiar with, that it's become my nature, that I'm not even aware on certain occasions that I'm living in fear, which is an absence of love, a lack of love, which means I lack faith, I lack the experience of freedom and security, and I lack the awareness that the soul as a living energy is immortal, imperishable, and eternal. Now, imagine you at this particular point in your journey, that the real deal is that your energy is eternal, but you're living a very mortal existence. What do you think is the experience in the soul? What would be the vibration? You're eternal, you're imperishable, you're immortal, but the influence of the emotions which are from the past, which you have fed for a very, very, very long time, over and over and over again, have created inside of you the experience, you're mortal, it's short term, nothing lasts forever, even I might not last forever. And these things, you go into marriages, you're not sure if it'll last forever. You have your children, you're not sure if you can protect them forever. You have friends, you're not sure if they'll betray you. You'll have money, you're not sure if the money will stay or be lost or taken away from you due to circumstances beyond your control. So many different forms of fear. I remembered I've been to, there's a particular few areas of fear that I'm still working on. And the irony is, being with a mother like Sister Gita, who's very intuitive and very psychically wired naturally. That's just her energy. She just knows stuff. So growing up, I kind of always had that influence around me. Like I just, okay, what is she seeing now? Okay, that's fine. But on my personal level, I'm not interested in any of that business. I'm going to close my doors. I have no interest in seeing things that I don't need to see. Let me mind my business and work only on myself and my service to the betterment of humanity. That's my focus. But on occasions on my journey, I have found myself in particular environments that I'm not so comfortable in. I don't know if Antonia remembers, a few years ago, I spoke at a consciousness expo in California. And I don't know how I ended up on this panel. But it was a panel of mediums and psychics and this and that. And of course, in my mind, I'm like, wait till I get Antonia. How in the world could you put me on a panel? How in the world could you put me on a panel like this? But anyway, here I am. The room is packed. There are about 4 folks on the panel with me. And one was like, oh, I would get these touchings in the mornings and the bed would move. And another one would be like, oh, I could see into this one and that. And I would sit there and I was like, how in the world did Antonia put me on this panel? Long story short, when it was my time to speak, after all of these quote-unquote psychics spoke about their stuff, I kind of looked at them like this, everyone, and just smile with me if you'd like. I just kind of turned like that to all of them, and I went like that. I go, thank you all for your sharing. Very wonderful, but I have to say, there's no one shaking my bed, and I'm not seeing any spirits. And to be very honest with you, I have no interest. I mean, I have no idea how I ended up on this panel. But what I do know is algae isn't good for you. And when it goes out of control, it can make you do stupid things, like get angry with your loved ones, like make you get jealous of people you don't need to be jealous of, rather you should be inspired. Algae will make you make your best friends into your worst enemies. Algae will make you trump your peace for anger. And then they, the 4 panelists, they looked at me like, what in the world is she talking about? Antonia, do you remember that program? It was hilarious. So I remembered when I was not only on that panel with them, but I wasn't very comfortable. And there was a feeling of a kind of a fear that came over me. And I asked, why do I get uncomfortable when I'm around this energy? Second particular scene. I was not comfortable around gurus or priests or stuff like that. Growing up, it was like, they give me the Ouija's, what they call it, the what you call that thing, Ouija's, like you get kind of uncomfortable, like scared. So I used to ask myself, why do I feel so scared or uncomfortable in this setting? Once when I had to go to the Vatican to do a very important meeting with the Pope, I couldn't walk in the basilica. The chest, my heart was like, and I couldn't step in that door. I had to sit outside of the door for a good 20 minutes until I could get over it. These are just a few stories. Another one was a guru who was visiting us at our ashram many, many years ago. And when I heard he was like the 4th top guru of India, and when I heard he was coming to visit me, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't deal with these energies. As I started to mature, I said to myself, why are you so uncomfortable in this scene? And the answer was immediate. It is an area that you have to give more love to. It is an area that you have to immerse your love in so that you can protect your field. And I paused, everyone. And this is over a period of time. This is like, not that it was happening just all at the same time. I've been growing with that energy, and I asked, why do I feel uncomfortable? I would call fear discomfort. And the answer would be is that you need to emerge the love in you in this particular area, because it's an area that the soul has maybe gone through a lot of experiences with, which now it's like, in order for you to overcome it and settle it, you have to give love to it. So I started to work on it, everyone, over and over again. Every time I would feel discomfort, I would say, no, let me love this scene. What would love do right now? What would love want in this scene right now? And that's a question that you can ask yourself every time you bump into a really challenging moment with a person, place, or thing. What does love want of me right now? And you hold that, and something very powerful will come out of you. I can guarantee it. So I can tell you from experience that there's not a single person on this planet who doesn't have some percentage or element of fear. Whether it's fear of public speaking, fear of dying, fear of an illness, fear of becoming wealthy, fear of losing your wealth, the fear of losing someone, whatever it might be. There are different elements of fears. And my investigation into fear became crystal clear. One winter, we were at the old ashram in Silver Spring, and we went out to shovel snow. And I like to play around a lot. And I took a ball of snow, the snow in my hand, and I made it into a snowball, and then I threw it at the sisters who were helping me to shovel. So of course, I'm not throwing it to hurt them. It was really a playful throw. So I went back and I started to shovel. But I could feel in my back, like they were going to hit me with a snowball. So I would turn to them and I would say, "You can't hit me, I'm the big cheese." And they were like, "Oh," and then they couldn't throw, the snowball at me. But as I kept shoveling, I had this fear that I would get the return of that karma. So one of the things I started to investigate about fear is that fear is emerging in us, in our personality, in our vibrational field, as a result of some action that I performed in a loveless state. That whenever I perform an action without love, in religious context, they'll say you performed a sin. So I don't look at sin in the way the Bible looks at sin, but I look at sin in the context of if I spoke to somebody without love, I was being sinful. Not sinful, but I performed the sin. If I was walking on the earth without the reverence for the earth, I was performing a sin. If I was thinking of someone with anger or hate or dislike or frustration or even jealousy or competition, I was sinning, but it was subtle because it was only at a thought level. But as we all know by now, thoughts generate energies. Energies manifest things. And the situations and circumstances that come to you and me are a result of my invitation, of what I've been thinking over a long period of time, what I've been saying, but what I've been doing through my five senses. So I came to realize that maybe the energy of fear, and I want you to think about what I've just said. If I've been performing certain actions without love, then I'm sinning, and please don't take sin in the context of a biblical form. Just look at sin as acts performed without love, okay? And if I've been doing that in small ways, how many of you have been driving on the roads and then, where was it? I don't know what I was seeing. Two people were driving and there was an old lady that put up her hand and these fingers were down. And I was like, oh my goodness. I mean, talk about a little fiery old lady, right? But what was interesting, she showed anger with her hand while the other person in the car is blowing the horn. Both were in a loveless state. So what I was witnessing, both were performing a sin, but they maybe took it nonchalant. And maybe 10 more cars down the road, they would do the same thing again, as if it's nothing. And so when we're performing actions that don't have that energy of love, then my fear is increasing. Because I'm breaking a fundamental universal law. And that's the law of benevolence. That's the law of sharing light. And that's the law of being loving. And what I want us to do is to go into a meditation and enjoy this beautiful moment with Sister Genti, who is the Brahma Kumaris International director for the BKs. And I want you to just think about your life for a little bit. How loveful can you become? And what do you think love wants of you for your life? And then let's go into this meditation together.
The concept of pure love. Love is also the original state of being of the eternal self. Sitting quietly, knowing that I am a soul. I am not the physical body. Within a moment, I can turn inwards and be a point of light. In this awareness of my own spiritual identity, I transcend the limits of my physical body. My image of myself has changed. Now, the compartments in which I had placed myself have dissolved. Color, gender, age, race, religion had all become limiting factors for my consciousness. And I can see so clearly that all of these are not part of I, the eternal being. All these are associated with my body, and I decide to go beyond these limits. My image of myself is transformed instantly. I am light. I am peace. I begin to enjoy knowing myself in this way. I had forgotten the sweetness of my own nature. I had grown accustomed to feeling and seeing all the rough and raw edges of my personality. And so I had forgotten to appreciate myself, and definitely I had lost all love for myself. In fact, I had become a stranger to myself. And now I know I am peace. I am light. And I become a friend for myself. Looking at myself peacefully, I begin to appreciate the beauty of the inner being. In my original state, I am filled with truth, with beauty. I can see goodness within myself, and now my appreciation of my own value grows. I know that I, as an individual, am unique. I begin to love myself. And in this awareness of my eternal identity, loving myself, I can let go of the bondages and chains of guilt from the past. Now I can be free. Able to learn from the past and yet forget. I can forgive myself. And so the burden of sorrow and guilt is removed. And I enjoy the beauty of loving myself. With this new attitude towards myself, I look out, and my vision towards the world has changed. My perspective on other individuals, other souls, is very different now. I see each being not simply in terms of their human frame, but I see each being as a being of light, a being with whom I am connected eternally. I can see the recent interaction and the exchanges of yesterday and the day before. But I choose not to hold on to the immediate past, or even the long distant past. I choose to see the being of light and my eternal connection with this being. We are brothers, and our link together is the link of love. Aware of love for the eternal self, all other feelings have been transformed. And I can send out thoughts and feelings and vibrations of love. This love reaches the people I have intimate connection with. But this love also reaches every human being in the world. I can send out thoughts of love that reach out into every corner of the universe. Thoughts of love touch the elements of nature, the environment, and the power of love cleanses and heals nature itself. I maintain awareness of the eternal being radiating love.
Om Shanti. This morning on Wise-ish, I did a segment that invited us just to hold silence together. To just be still. And a lot of us forget that in the practice of stillness is also love. Because fear isn't a still energy. It's like an energy that runs away from. Love runs to. Fear tries to run away from. I know Louise was asking if fear is connected to the ego. Of course, no doubt. But just personally look at yourself. When you're in fear, how many times do you sort of move away from that which you're afraid of by denying yourself the right to engage in it, by thinking about it in a way that it could be the worst case scenario? Fear in the form of turning it around in such a way that it just really turns what could be something very simple to solve becomes a really complex scenario because of the fear. Some of us even have the fear of playing life so safe because we don't believe much in ourselves. But there is a power in it too. I'm not saying that fear doesn't have its benefits. Sometimes your fear can create such a rage in you that it pushes you forward to break through certain things. Out of fear, you will, run away from something that you need to run away from. And in a way, there's a love there somewhere. I'll give the example of maybe a relationship that's very abusive. Because you have love for yourself, but you're afraid of the situation, that fear can sometimes be a really big energy to just have you break away from it, So it's a very interesting way in how these energies are working in our consciousness. But what I do know is that when it comes down to meditation and stillness and the practice of mastering your life by really paying attention to your every thought determines your outcome. Everything you're thinking determines what happens to you or for you. And it's not like something is positive or negative as such, but it's like things are just coming to show you and me, who am I? And what's needed here? And where is my love? Where is my love? And we have to reach that point where we make love become the real energy driver. As I asked you before we went into that beautiful meditation, what is it that love is asking of you, for you? What does love want of you? It's a huge question. What does love want of you right now in your life? Ponder on it all night tonight. When you make dinner or eat dinner, think about it. Talk to love inside of the soul and ask love, what do you want from me? What do you want of me, rather? Just ask love that is in you in the same way you would talk to your fear. And you'd say, gosh, I'm so afraid of this guy, or I'm so afraid of this situation at work. I'm so afraid that I might lose my job if I speak up and speak my mind. You talk to yourself a lot when it comes on to your fears. But how often do you talk to your love in you? So the more you can talk to the love that's in you, you'll heal the fear that is lingering and maybe has become kind of a resident in your home of consciousness, and you don't want it there, but it's sitting there anyway. It happens. So I'm curious if anybody has any thoughts that they'd like to share, or any ideas of what maybe today meant to you. Dora is saying sometimes fear is based on the lived experience. How do you love yourself through the pain of the experience so that the next time you do not have the same response that you did before? Zora, first and foremost, don't even think there'll be a next time. Om Shanti. Don't even go there. Right now, I think what's most important for you is if the energy of fear comes up, just ask that one question that I left everybody with. What does love want of me right now during my moment of fear? That's all. That's all. I can guarantee my life something is going to come up for you at that time that your soul needs to really experience so that you can move beyond that fear. Okay, so Akshay has a point on love. Let's hear what he's saying, everyone. Love is a virtue. Could you put up Akshay's picture, Santosh? Love is a virtue that overlooks all vices, discards all expectations, and helps you to stand with others. It is a power which will never leave you alone. Wow. What do you all think about that? Love is a virtue that overlooks all vices, discards all expectations, and helps you to stand with others. It is a power which will never leave you alone. Akshay, thumbs up for everybody who got that point from him. Fantastic. Dr. Madhavi, so nice to have you on today. The fear of doing something wrong or something wrong happening, where does that come from? Can you explain? Well, I think we've all been in that position, Dr. Madhavi. It's that sometimes we have been impacted by the energy of failure or something that went wrong based on a decision that we've made. And it could be something from the past. And of course, everything in our hearts wants everything to work out right, but sometimes we carry the energy of not believing in our potential or believing in our experience or our capacity enough. That's one. For me, what I use a lot, this is not about me, but I have full faith Baba's energy is going to make it work. I have no skills about many things, but I go, Baba's going to let it work. And that deep faith that Baba's energy is going to make something work makes miracles happen. And then I break this energy of the fear of dealing with stuff. So work on that in a way that you can feel it. You see, your faith in Baba will become as intense of an energy as your experience of an emotion that you might be carrying of a failure or an anguish or a disappointment or sadness or a loss of love. We've all felt those feelings and they're intense. Okay, remember the intensity of that feeling. The energy of faith and love should feel equally as intense, if not more, but it would have a more gentler impact. Fear is more like, shock and awe. Love is like it just takes you with that energy. You can feel it, that it's flowing through you. I hope that was clear. I feel like the love is like this wave that comes in. So you have like these gentle waves that come and go into your life. And that's how I need to use love in the midst of moments of fear. Okay. So Asmita, yes, Akshay really impressed you. Are so clear. Akshay, they're really impressed by you, and I know you're not taking any ego, but everyone is saying that you were so clear about life, and may he stay that way. Janvi is sharing, Akshay, God must bless you and keep blessing you. You're beautiful. And Durga is saying, thank you all. I think Zora is saying, I think that he's a beautiful soul. Akshay, that's because you're growing. We don't want you to disappoint us, okay? All right. Praveen is saying Akshay's reply is wonderful. Thank you, Akshay. Wonderful. So Dr. Madhavi, I think you got the answer. Beautiful. All right. So I think everyone got their answer. You're welcome, Dr. Madhavi. All right. So, Facebook. Okay, let's go to... Huh? No? Yes, okay, let's go to Facebook. My Facebook doesn't work when I go onto it, you know? Let's see. All right. Be patient. Times are so different, you know? Now we can do all of these wonderful things and get everything on air. All right. Okay. All right. So everyone, have a wonderful night together. Any other closing remarks? Feel free to share them in the page. And it's a process for all of us, you know. And the irony is, when Baba first designed all of us, Baba sent us down with so much love. And as the soul kept traveling, playing out its part, different events started to occur. And there was a time that we could handle them. We were like, just water off of your back. But as the soul kept getting older, it started to develop more dependency on the soul being in the body. And so when events would take place that were not connected to love, peace, purity, truth, and joy, then it started to naturally use the energy of attachment to the stories. So whether I failed or whether I lost something or lost someone, it's the energy of attachment that's actually making it into a big deal. So why Baba teaches us in Raj Yoga meditation to practice considering yourself to be a soul and remember Baba, is that the more you consider yourself a soul and feel the energy of God's love, the energy of attachment gets less. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us on tonight's segment. And again, Akshay, thank you so much for finding spiritual vaccines so informative and important for you to use your valuable time to tune in and listen with Mom. Thank you so much. It means a lot to all of us here. And to all of you who join in regularly, we thank you too for your trust, your sincerity, as you know, the genuine flow of spiritual vaccine, your time, your thoughts, your openness, your honesty. And thank you for allowing us to be open and honest with you without trying to, give you something that we think you need. Which, that's not really the best policy. That's why the world has become so deceived. You really want to find an energy that is just true. Just settled. I say it so often. I feel like a broken record sometimes, but you just want to be settled in an energy that you feel safe with. Because we need that more and more. Okay, let's take a moment of stillness and enjoy this special song by Bliss. This Love is one of my favorite. And dive deep into the feeling and keep asking, what does love want of me? Om Shanti.
I feel it now. It's all around me. A silent voice I can't deny. A mother last forever. It will never fade away. Never cause me pain. This love, this love. I close my eyes. It takes me over. A memory deep down in my soul, and safe from harm to be beside you. A light will shine upon the world. It will last forever. It will never fade away. Never cause me pain. This love, this love. It will last forever. It will never fade away. Never cause me pain. It will last forever.